Hello and welcome. You are listening to the Ditch Decade Diets podcast. I am your host, Lorna, certified food freedom coach and founder of the Ditch Decade Diets Academy. I've spent 10 years in an unhealthy relationship with food, binge eating, over-exercising, and feeling insecure in my body. This podcast is all about helping you get to the root of your food struggles and teaching you how to rewire your brain so you can end binge eating. If you're ready to improve your relationship with food and cultivate more self-love towards yourself and your health, this is the podcast for you. So let's get to it and jump right in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Ditch Decade Diets podcast. Today, I want to talk about motivation and knowing what to eat and how those are two things that actually are not required to stop binge eating. So I want to explain this to you because I know you. Like, I don't know you, but I do know you, okay? Like, I know you're a very motivated, disciplined, driven person. Like, you go after your goals, you go after what you want, you have drive, you have that motivation within you. Like, you have that drive, you have that commitment within you. And the thing is, you might be questioning, like, I literally am so motivated. I want nothing more than to stop my binge eating. Whenever I've had, other goals in the past, like, I work towards it. Like, I have things say I'm going to do. Like, you're a motivated person. And you're like, why am I still binge eating? I even know all the things of what to eat. You guys tell me this all the time. Like, Lorna, I know what to eat. I know all the foods that I should be eating, and I'm still just sabotaging. Like, I'm still binging. And I want to talk about why, because honestly, this was my case for a very, very long time. I was always the most motivated person in the room. I knew obviously what to eat, not only because I've been on so many different diets, but I studied nutrition. Like, I had a nutrition background. And I mean, for the most part, you guys know, right? Like, what foods make you feel good, what foods make you feel bloated. And I remember like questioning myself, and I'm like literally, what's wrong with me? Because I can work out no problem. Like, I am a disciplined person. Again, I know all the things of what to do. Why am I not doing it? Like, when it came to the diets, it's like, okay, I know the plan. Why can't I stick to it? Or it's like, I know that I should be, only eating X amount, or I had all these rules for myself, right? I'm like, you can only have half a cup of rice, or you can only have X amount of ounces of meat, or whatever it was, right? And it's like, I knew what to do. I knew the foods that made me feel like shit, but I would still be eating them. I'm like, what the heck is wrong? And I recognized that, obviously through healing my relationship with food and ending binge eating, I realized that the steps needed to end binge eating, to get rid of your urges, and to become less impulsive with food are way, way, way different than the steps that you needed to take when you were dieting. So I'm on the other side, and I've completely healed my relationship with food. And I can tell you the things that I needed to do when I was dieting was not even close to the things that I needed to do to reprogram my brain to become less impulsive with food. And I think people don't really understand this. It's like they're two different things, right? Diets don't teach you how to eat without guilt. Diets tell you, don't eat this, don't eat that. So then diets make you fear food and literally make you feel guilty for what you're eating. When you're healing your relationship with food, right? You are taught how to be able to eat the cookie without feeling bad, how to be able to have the bread or the pasta without feeling guilty. Diets don't teach you how to have a better relationship with food. Literally, dieting makes you have a poor relationship with food. Like, the reason I have a poor relationship with food today is because I've literally been on diets my whole life. Like, all I knew were food rules and don't eat this and don't eat that. Like, those diets create all of this like not only pressure, but it also creates all these thoughts in your mind, and it forces you to literally be thinking about food 24/7. Because if you're on a diet and you have like certain rules, you don't want to mess up. So of course you're constantly thinking about, oh, what did that person say? Oh, that person said that, you shouldn't be having gluten, or this person said you can't eat after 7 o'clock, or this person said, you can't have bananas because they're too high in sugar, or whatever it is, right? And then you literally start having a dysfunctional relationship with food, because then you're going batshit crazy, like questioning every single thing that you're consuming, right? So diets don't help you have a better relationship with food. Diets often cause an unhealthy relationship with food. Like, it's almost very rare, as sad as it is, but like, if you have been somebody who's been dieting, like the likelihood of a poor relationship with food happening is very strong, although it's so sad, but it's true. Like, when you are so used to being told about certain things, again, it's like you are that driven person. You want to stick to the plan. You want to follow it to a T. And it's like when you don't follow it, it's like you beat yourself up, right? Now, another thing with urges, right? Again, like for me, my urges, you guys, literally were so strong. Like my urges were so freaking intense. And I'm like, just don't do it. Like, just don't give in. Like, no matter what you do, just don't do it. Don't give in, don't give in, don't give in. And the problem is though, like I would always give in. And I thought, like, again, there must be something wrong with me, because I really, really, really tried to not give in. But motivation is not going to stop you from giving into your urges. Like, I always say this, but you got to get rid of your urges. Like, you can't just tell yourself, don't binge. How many times have you told yourself don't give in and you still gave in? How many times do you tell yourself don't binge and you binge? Like, it's not enough to just tell yourself to not do it, right? So diets don't help you get rid of your urges. In fact, diets are what actually create those urges. So again, you might be motivated, you might know what to eat, but there's like this disconnect between I know what to do and actually doing it. And it's not because you're weak. It's not because you're broken. It's not because you lack motivation. It's simply that you might not know how to heal your relationship with food, how to stop when you're full, how to eat when you're hungry, how to get rid of your urges, how to eat chocolate without guilt, how to be able to bake cookies without binging, right? If you don't know how to do those things, then of course, you're not going to be able to stop when you're full, or not give in to your urges, because you don't know what else to do other than just like hope that you don't give in. And I was in that place before when I was like trying so hard. Like I was trying to not give in to my urges. Like I said, literally I would wake up in the morning and I'd like promise myself, like I would literally make a promise to myself, like, you're going to come home and you're not going to eat. You're not going to binge. And it never worked because I didn't get rid of my urges. I didn't know how to become less impulsive with food. The things that I was doing was actually causing me urges, right? I was trying to follow these rigid rules. I was trying to eat super healthy all day. So no wonder I came home and binged my face off, because I didn't have the proper tools. And this is why you hire me. This is why we work on your relationship with food. But if you were just trying to, follow macros or follow a specific set of rules and can you continue to diet and expect yourself to stop binge eating, do you see how, of course, you're still having urges, because tracking your food or being told what to eat or knowing all the foods of what to eat doesn't help you become less impulsive with food. Like, knowing what to eat is great and that's fantastic, but ending binge eating is not even really about the food. So just because you know what to eat, or you've been on so many diets, you know roughly how much you should be eating, like that's not even required to help you stop binge eating, right? These rules, these diets make you more impulsive with food. And again, this is where the frustration comes in, because it's like, I know so much. Like, you guys, I was a personal trainer. I was a health coach. I literally knew so much about nutrition. I got my nutrition certification. I worked with nutrition clients. Like, I knew so much. I studied health and fitness in school. Like, did nutrition courses. Like, I literally knew everything about nutrition. And I was like, Like, what the heck? Like, Lorna, you have so much knowledge in your brain. Why can't you just control yourself? And it's not about the food. It's not about knowing, how many grams are of carbs are in something, or the nutrition facts is something. Like, that's not needed to stop your binge eating. To stop your binge eating, you got to learn how to become less impulsive with food. You got to learn how to regulate your nervous system, reprogram your brain. You need to get rid of your urges. But if you're just continuing to diet, you're still going to be impulsive with food because you're not taking the right action to stop binge eating. And this is what I see so often, like, no diets work. No diets work. I can never stick to diet, so I can't heal my relationship with food. And I'm like, no, you're actually the perfect person to work on your relationship with food because you are that disciplined person. But imagine if you actually are disciplined with utilizing the tools to not give into your binge urges. Imagine you were disciplined to use the proper tools. Like, you literally would be binge free. Just right now, you're trying to rely on motivation, on tools that are backfiring and actually causing urges, and it's not working, right? And now what I will also say is sometimes you don't want to believe that diets don't work. Like, you want to believe that, like, you are the problem and you just lack motivation, because let's be honest, it's so much easier to just tell yourself, try harder. It is so much easier to just say, like, you got to rely on more motivation. Like, come on, get your shit together. You got to try harder than it actually is to stop dieting and look inwards and recognize that there's an unhealthy relationship with food. Like, this is it. It's so much easier to say, oh no, diets do work. It's me. I'm the problem. Like, hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Like, diets do work. It's just me. Like, I can't stick to it, because that is easier than actually being like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe there's actually something going on here. Maybe I do have an unhealthy relationship with food. And I had to come to that conclusion. It took me 10 years of trying all these different diets to realize, like, okay, diets don't work. And I actually needed to fix my relationship with food. It wasn't that I didn't have motivation. It wasn't that I wasn't trying hard enough. I literally was trying. Like, I wanted nothing more than to stop my binge eating, but I recognized that I couldn't stop my binge eating unless I healed my relationship with food. Like, I could be, again, I was the most motivated person. Literally, I'm such a disciplined person. But when you're disciplining yourself or trying to motivate yourself towards something that is literally causing you these urges, it's not going to work, right? So again, sometimes you have to actually turn inwards and be like, hold on, wait, like, maybe the diets don't work. Even if I've done it for 5, 10, 15 years, like, maybe it isn't the diet. Maybe I need to look inwards and fix my issues that are going on so that I can actually be in control and be able to stay consistent with my food long term. This is why binge eating goes way, way, way beyond not being able to stick to your diet. Like, it's not even about that. It's not even about that. I've had so many clients that have never been able to stick to a diet, and they've healed their relationship with food, because nobody can stick to a diet. When you learn how to get rid of guilt, when you learn how to stop the rigid rules and you get out of the all or nothing mentality, like, you're going to heal. You're going to heal. You can know what to eat, but there's obviously something that's preventing you from sticking to it, and it's not motivation. It's the urges that make you feel crazy around food. And the urge is what causes you to eat 7 cookies instead of 1. It's the rigid rules. It's the diets that make you spiral into the all or nothing mentality as soon as you have something off plan. It's the guilt, right? It's the guilt that lasts days that makes you feel like a failure. So you sabotage your food because, well, I'm already off track. So healing your relationship with food and ending binge eating is very different than dieting. And so when you have the proper tools to eat without guilt, to eat without impulse, you're actually going to recognize you never lacked motivation all along. You just needed to heal your relationship with food. And how freeing is that? It's so freeing to realize, like, hey, it actually wasn't about more motivation. Like, it wasn't that I wasn't trying hard enough. Like, I just needed a better relationship with food. And then, oh, wow, I can actually eat 1 cookie. People tell me all the time, like, I'm addicted to food. Like, I have no control. I'm like, no, you actually do have control. But if you're doing certain things like dieting that's causing you to spiral out of control, of course, you're not going to have control, right? But once you learn how to heal your relationship with food, you are going to be able to eat 2 cookies. I never, ever, ever, ever in a million years thought that I would ever be able to have my chocolate chip pancakes without binging, because I kid you not, every time I had my chocolate chip pancakes, I would always binge. I did not care the time of the day, like what day of the week it was. It did not matter how full I was. If I was literally so full from dinner, if I had my pancakes, I would just binge. And you guys, like, now I can literally be home alone and eat my chocolate chip pancakes and not binge. And it's not because, all of a sudden, a few years later, I mustered up the courage to, not binge, or it's because I'm trying really hard, you guys. I'm trying, and I have so much motivation all of a sudden. It's not about that. It's because I did the work. I did the work to heal my relationship with food. I did the work to learn how to eat without guilt and eat without impulse. I put in the work. It's not like magically one day you're going to just have tons of motivation. And, a few years ago, it was just like, you didn't have motivation because you were so stressed out at work. It's not about that. It's not about motivation. When you have the proper tools to eat without impulse, to eat without guilt, you're going to see it was never about having more motivation all along. Because again, you are that motivated person. You are very disciplined. I know you are. And I know you want nothing more than to stop your binge eating. You just got to heal your relationship with food. So if you resonated with this and you're like, yeah, like I am a driven person, like I am so motivated, but like I just can't stop my binging. Like these urges are literally so freaking strong and I'm trying to not give in, but I always end up giving in. I would love to have you inside of my program, Stop the Urge. I literally created this program, Stop the Urge, because I had these intense urges that felt so strong, so intense. I felt powerless over my urges. And like I said, no matter what I would do, distract myself, try harder, rely on motivation, stay busy, drink tea and water, go to bed early, brush my teeth, no matter what I tried, I would always give in to my urges. And so I created this program to actually give you tangible tools for not only when you feel the urge to binge that will help you to not give in. So you're going to know, like literally the next time an urge comes on, you're going to know exactly how to prevent yourself from giving in, but you're also going to learn how to prevent binge urges from the first place. Because if you don't feel the urge to binge, well, guess what? It's going to be so much easier for you to not give in. And eventually I'm going to teach you how to get rid of those urges. I know you don't want to give in, but they feel demanding and persistent and controlling, like you must give in. And inside of this program, I'm going to teach you literally the exact strategies of how you can get rid of your binge urges. So not only am I going to teach you the strategy, right? Because it's important to know exactly what to do to become less impulsive with food and to get rid of your binge urges, but also the mindset piece to no longer have the desire to even want to binge. And also what to do when you don't want to even utilize the tools because you want to binge. And that training alone is literally going to change everything for you. So say goodbye to fighting against your urges and trying to rely on motivation and promising yourself you're going to have one less urge, and say hello to feeling way more powerful over your binge urges. And if you stay consistent with the tools I'm going to teach you, eventually you won't have any more urges. So I'm very excited. This program is kicking off in January, mid-January, and you can join now at early bird pricing. So you can check out the link down below in the show notes. This is going to be so incredible. This is one of my most popular programs. Everyone knows me for rewiring the brain and getting rid of your binge urges. So if you resonated with this episode and you're like, yeah, like I recognize, like I can't keep doing what I've always done of dieting. Like I need to learn how to actually heal my relationship with food. I need to learn how to get rid of these urges and become less impulsive with food. This program is going to be incredible for you. So I'd love to have you inside of Stop the Urge. Again, check out the link down below in the show notes, and I can't wait to support you.